Hi there, good afternoon. I'm Paul Billett and I'm going to give you a presentation regarding magnetic current. You'll probably find it very interesting and I'm going to get started. Now this book, Magnetic Current, was put out by Leedskalnin and it was written in 1945. And what I'm attempting to do on this presentation is to decipher some of the code. You'll find that the code is everywhere, even on the front page. If we look at even this little word called bi, if you flip the y upside down, you'll see it's a lambda, which is the Greek symbol for wavelength of light. But light is the theme through magnetic current, which I'm unraveling the code for. And even the last word in magnetic current on this page here ends in a particle of light. So let's get started. Okay, great. I'm using my Android for the presentation to flip through the pages. And this is for you, opening page, partially decoded by Paul Billett from Melbourne, Australia, written by Leedskalnin, Rockgate, Coral Castle, Homestead, Florida, USA, copyright 1945. When will you see the first clue revealed? Okay, on page 3 of Magnetic Current, I'm going to decipher the first line for you, and here we go. This writing is lined up. It says this writing is lined up so that when you read it, you look east. And all the description, I would call decryption, you'll read about magnetic current. It will be just as good for your electricity. So we have a look here. See, this writing is lined up. So that's what I'm just talking about here. But the key part of the sentence is the opening word here, this, and the writing, the G, because it's lined up, points to magnetic current. Magnetic current. Magnetic itself has got 8 characters, and down here it'll be just as good for your electricity, or you can say it'll be just a G. So we're looking for a G. So there's the G. Magnetic, and east, if you were to orientate a compass on this page, east would be pointing that way, west that way, north that way, and south that way. Okay, so this writing will be just a G for your magnetic, that is electricity, because electricity is magnetic. A magnetic field is created with electric current. And you can find quite easily just that of any sort of radiation created by electricity, such as this TV set, you pick up the magnetic component. See, you can picks it up there. There's like one microtesla there. All right. So when you look east, like a compass on the page, and count the 8 letters or characters in the word magnetic, shift the G to the left by exactly 8 letters. So this is a G here. You want to shift that back 8 letters. We end up over here, but that's on the next page. So shift the G by the left by exactly, you end up with putting the G in between T, H, G and I, S, which was previously worded as this. Read T, G, I, S backwards and you get sight. C. So we're already onto the theme of light here, the wavelengths and the hidden component light in this particular publication, because if you don't have light, you have no sight. So we'll see about that. All right, next page. Okay, so this is, I've scanned this page 3 for you, And what do you see when you look east? You get twilight. Okay, I'll show you. T, W, I, L, I, with the G inserted, G, H, T, twilight. So we've got twilight. So that's got the 8 letters as well. So the other thing bit here, we've decoded what this current is all about. If we look here, I found this out by reading another book by Edward Malaski, and because the font here for this R and this R are different if you look carefully enough, and it's done deliberately so you can decipher the code. So, so what we do is see the shift on the alphabet. In other words, this becomes the R becomes S, I becomes O is before P, T is for U, and B is for C. So sent to be magnetic. So there's a word there. So we need, the reason you put the leg in there because we need a leg up or boost for the next letter, which is an R. So that's why it becomes an R. So it's just these letters here that he was interested in decoding. So so that's the other thing too is when we look at here we've got so when will you see, so these U and U are lined up. So what we do what we got here is that if we use the 8 number rule, what we found up here and over here, 8 letters going this way to your left, you end up with C in the description, and this is on going to the right, so we can't, because these U and U here are lined up, you count 8 numbers here, we end up with C. So we've got it, but when you add 8 to the left and 8 to the right, we end up getting 16. Now Sweet 16 is like in another PowerPoint presentation. It's another geometric figure that Edward Leedskalnin was quite fond of, and of course it's got 2 meanings because Billy Idol had a song Sweet 16 when he's singing about Coral Castle as well. Never mind. Okay, twilight is the time period between the astronomical dawn, faces east, and sunrise. So that's where you're looking east here. All right, next one. Okay, we've got what we have here is a permanent magnet holder, and I've got a little mini one here. But the one in Ed's magnetic current instructions, it's a much bigger one. But once you charge this up though, you've got magnetic current flowing through this here, and it won't disappear, not like in any normal electromagnet. Once you release the electricity, the load drops, the hook would fall down. But this is designed that your magnetic current is, or flux is sort of continually flowing through, and this hook here, it will stay forever, or the keeper bar will stay here forever, well, to eternity, until you somehow rip it apart. Okay. The other thing I want to do is probably measure the thing here, just to show you that there's quite a bit of energy captured in there. You can see the Teslas on the in the H field, like it's like half. I measured about half a micro Tesla here. You can see it's triggering that off on the radiation meter. All right, the other interesting thing here is I got this clue by having a hole in the middle. So what happens if I put a hole in the middle of the page? Well, we've got U here, and that's kind of like the shape of the U of this, perpetual motion holder, or PMH you call it. and what happens is that, okay, we put a line through it, and starting through the edge of the sea of magnetic current, going through there. Usually, well, there's two U's in usually, so we're putting a U through, that's going right through the U here, and there's another U there, of course, at the front. And then we keep going south, and there's the south, there's another U there, and then the metal at the bottom of the T. The other interesting thing too is that we're going right through the between here. That's the y-axis and the axis. That's my accent here, Australian accent or New Zealand accent here. There's an x-axis, if we do this here, go sweet 16 S W E, and then we've got E T 6, and then you've got the T there, sweet 16 again. That's another little interesting aspect of this particular page. Right, so we'll go to the next one. I'm Chromecasting this. I just zoomed in to show you what I did before. You can see what's happening in Italian or Greek or whatever. So there we go. Next one. Right. So it wasn't just magnetic current. He was trying to convey his code or cipher. If you go through the entranceway of Coral Castle, it says entrance over here on top. That's not in the photo though, but it also says that you will be seeing unusual accompaniment signed by Ed. So this Coral Castle Christmas special, that's what I call it, with going against gravity. Okay. Now rumours surrounding Coral Castle of Leedskalnin singing to the stones in the night as he would secretly levitate them. Several children were said to have seen him use ice cream cones to make the rocks float into place. Right. We go, whoops, go back. Now this is where it gets interesting. This is a close up what I'm trying to do here. Notice I've highlighted in blue the 4 U's. There's U here, U here, U here, and U here. Now, okay, if you take a U-shaped magnet, you'll find that one end's the north, this is the north here, another end is the south, which is the south here. Right. Notice he's lined up these letters here, the E and CC. Well, that's going to, he's trying to highlight things here and get you to do things here as well. So 2 pairs of identical letters are lined up, EE and CC. Seeing this, add and remove another pair of letters, ING to seeing, ignore the E in there, and we've got singing, and you get singing, okay. Right, so the other thing you can do with the ING, you can flip it around, because magnetics involve spin. If you take a normal magnet, you'll find that at the one end of the pole you're going to get a left-hand flux cork spin, and the other one will be an anti-clockwise spin. These are these strong magnetic magnets, which weren't around during its time, but they're quite strong. And so if we look at ING here and we move it over to here where you've got AL, you end up getting a line, and then just down here you got MENT, which is you've got an alignment here, a magnetic alignment. So right, I think that sort of covers that one. I'm doing a presentation here. Okay. Alright, here we go. We've got a dual torus U4 bubble space-time manifold. you might say, presentation that's also on YouTube by Nassim Haramein, and check that one out, because by splitting ends for U, you get U4. So, and that here is his amazing, most accurate sundial in the world. Ed knew about magnetic B curves. Yeah, he did. Okay, so that's the reason why I highlighted previously the y-axis and the x-axis in his writing. Now, of course, we know that steel and iron are ferromagnetic. Olit, coral limestone, I haven't actually managed to get hold of any yet, but when I do, I like to check out the properties. But I would say it would have either have diametric or parametric type properties. Anyway, it'd be interesting to see if, what would happen if you somehow magnetized it in some sort of way. Anyway, when we looked previously in the other slide, we had accomplishment. Okay, we'll go back to here. Now, the H is horizontal H field x-axis, which you need on a radiation meter, and you also can measure the flux density component, which is the E field, whatever. Lined up vertically y-axis, see the previous slide, which I did before. So there we go. The other thing I've noticed too is on the third page of magnetic current, the light aspect to it. The first sentence, like we did code before, twilight means the glow of reflected light. And also, when we read a line here which said, the following is the result of my 2 years experiment with magnets at Rockgate. So if we focus on the result and we made an anagram of result, we get luster. Now, look up the dictionary of luster, you'll find it's the glow of reflected light of surface objects. And my PowerPoint says luster's definition, the gateway by which light interacts with the surface of crystal, rock or mineral. See Rockgate. Okay, we're going to see Rockgate here. This is the postcard on the next PowerPoint slide. See Rockgate and have a new experience. Rockgate is located 27 miles southwest of Miami on the Key West Highway. EDL, Edward Leedskalnin, is the man who made the place. Okay, this is very interesting. I've counted the numbers on the right, and we're just looking at the rightmost letters, or the east part of the page, and according to this page here, the top two lines which you can't see are up here 1 and 2, and then we've got 3, 4, 5 and 6, we've got 17 here. I go all the way to 17, which goes through the middle, where we're looking at subatomic particles here, or at a subatomic level, because of circle sub, and it goes through the U, and notice I've highlighted 17, because that's 17 going there, so we've mapped that quite nicely using the word 17. And what else I noticed too is southwest, 17 miles southwest from Miami, Florida. So literally on this page goes southwest, in the southwest direction through Miami, Florida. Okay, so going through the U again. Right, next one. Following is the result of my 2 years experiment with mag. Now that's a very interesting to try and decode that. Alright, so if we look here, we've got the apostrophe is very important, and because apostrophe means that it belongs to experiment. So there's experiment here. The first two letters pair with X, which is there's your 2 and there's your EX. But you can cross X out because that's not what he's trying to point to. Year and peri are a pair, year and peri. And because the Earth goes around the Sun's perimeter a year, isn't peri, or peri is the ancient Greek root word for around. So we're going around the Sun here, as shown. Right, so, but the other thing I've really sort of latched onto here is when he asked you to experiment with mag. So what happens if you actually literally experiment with the word mag? Okay, so you put mag with ment, and end up getting magnet, which is akin to magnetic cement. So you somehow managed to magnetize those limestone or like rocks, you might say, or coral, or whatever you like to call it. Alright, next one. Location, that's a good old real estate phrase here. And that's a Google Earth image here, and I've measured it from Miami to Homestead, Florida City. That's the current location of Coral Castle, or what was Rockgate Park. Beforehand, he relocated Coral Castle. It was in Florida City, but that's another story. All right. So we've got a deliberate code discrepancy in the stated distance. Postcard advertisement says 27 miles southwest, but magnetic current publication says 17 miles southwest. So that's interesting to know. Okay, so when will you see? Count 8 letters left and 8 letters right. We get the sweet 16. I mentioned that before. Okay, we'll go to the next one. First, I will describe what a magnet is. U. So there's the U there. The other thing too is that if you look, I'll go back a little bit here, and this page here, go back a bit, go back to that page. This is where you get the C from. You do a C shift on the T, that becomes S. F becomes an E, and take one letter away from F, you end up coming up with an E. So there's code all over the place here. So I'll go back to the other slide. There we are. Okay, we've reached the end of this presentation. Edward Leedskalnin was fond of double entendre, different levels of meaning using the same topic to communicate, and playing upon words, which he sure has, cryptically to leave a lasting legacy to mankind once it was finally discovered. And all the description, or you'll read, means decryption, otherwise this understanding would have been lost when he went unexpectedly to the grave at only 64 years old. And that concludes my PowerPoint presentation. I hope to keep you updated when I delve into a little bit more. Thanks for watching. Cheers.